Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Today we are headed to Kirksville. Looks to be another climbing day in the beautiful hills of Missouri. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Well, without further ado, let's ride. It's been kind of surreal when you really think about it. We were talking, me and another rider, when we stopped for our sandwich break. We were talking about the fact that it has been 4 weeks to the day since we left Los Angeles. Tomorrow we reach the 2,000 mile mark. We're also crossing into Illinois tomorrow. We had a meeting tonight after dinner concerning the end of tour and some of the various arrangements that need to be made for the end of the tour. So things are coming to a close fairly quickly. We have 2 rest days left. In a couple more days, we will be in Champaign, Illinois. By the way, we're crossing into Illinois tomorrow. So we've got a rest day in Champaign, and then we've got a rest day in Erie, Pennsylvania. And then, before you know it, we'll be in Boston. So it is pretty exciting stuff. Today we rode from Chillicothe to Kirksville, all entirely in Missouri. I departed at 8:02 a.m. and at the start the weather was cloudy. Temperature was 65 degrees Fahrenheit with a feels like temperature of 66 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that's not much of a difference, but that's the first day that our feels like temperature was hotter than the actual temperature. And it got hotter as the day progressed. The humidity today was 87%. That's probably why the feels like was higher than the actual temperature. And the wind at the start was 5.2 miles per hour from the north. We kind of got lucky today in terms of the weather because it had rained in Chillicothe. And when we left, it was still pretty cloudy and the roads were pretty wet. And so the droplets that you see from time to time on the camera lens are not because I'm riding through rain, but because just road spray. By the way, I kind of like the effect that the low clouds gave to the time-lapse video. It looks like they're moving a lot faster than they really are, and they look quite ominous. So that's kind of fun. The length of today's ride was 75.52 miles, and I had an average moving speed of 13.3 miles per hour with a maximum speed of 36.7 miles per hour. Once again, today's ride was in the rolling hills of the beautiful Missouri countryside. Missouri actually is a very pretty state, but it's a bit of a bear to ride a bike through. More on that in a few minutes. My total moving time was 5 hours, 40 minutes, 23 seconds, and I had an elapsed time of 6 hours, 46 minutes, and 16 seconds. My average heart rate today was 113 beats per minute, and my max heart rate was 135. According to Garmin and Strava, I burned 1,652 calories. I had an average cadence of 59 RPM and a max cadence of 103 RPM. In terms of elevation gain, this was a climbing day. According to Strava's map data, we gained 4,857 feet. And according to Garmin's barometric data, we gained 4,472 feet. I had a total of 18,523 pedal strokes, and according to Strava, I had an average power output of 114 watts. On today's ride, we had 5 Garmin climbs and many, 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 many climbs that were actually harder than some of the Garmin climbs, and Garmin did not consider them as climbs. So, I don't know. Garmin, you need to get your act together in terms of how you classify a climb, because some of these were easy compared to the non-climbs. Anyway, the 5 Garmin climbs, the first one started at 43.1 miles. It was 0.64 miles in length. We gained 138 feet at an average gradient of 4%. The second one started at 44.5 miles. It was 0.78 miles in length. We gained 144 feet at an average gradient of 3%. The third one started at 56.5 miles. It was 0.6 miles in length. We gained 128 feet with an average gradient of 4%. The fourth one started right at 60 miles. It was 0.63 miles in length. We gained 115 feet and an average gradient of 3%. The last of the Garmin climbs was the most challenging of the Garmin climbs. It started at 66.4 miles. It was 2.38 miles in length. We gained 377 feet with an average gradient of 3%. However, that particular climb had its ups and downs, and some of its ups were quite steep, and so that 3% average includes the downhill portions, which were a negative gradient. In terms of today's route, when we left the hotel in Chillicothe, we took surface roads to Route 36, which we took to Business 36, to South Main Street, to East Park Street, to North Monroe Street, which becomes Route 11. All of that meandering was in Brookfield, Missouri. And we took Route 11 to Route Business 63, and from there we took surface roads to the hotel. We started in Chillicothe. As I said, the entire ride was in Missouri today. So we started in Chillicothe. We rode through Wheeling, Meadville, Laclede, Brookfield, which was where our first sag was, St. Catherine, New Boston, which was our second sag, at the family farm of Tom and Debbie Nowak, who are kind enough to allow Crossroads to use their property for a sag stop every year. So shout out to Tom and Debbie Nowak. That is really nice of you, and I really appreciate it. From New Boston, we rode into Kirksville to the hotel. Tomorrow is, as I mentioned, another state line crossing. We will be riding from Kirksville, Missouri to Quincy, Illinois. It's a 76-mile ride. There's some climbing, but not like today and yesterday. And as I said, it's only 76 miles-ish. So should be an easier day than today was. We'll see. Also, tomorrow is going to be another late start. This is another hotel that breakfast doesn't start until 7. And so we will be departing at 8 for the early group and 8:30 for the later group. Let's see, what else to add? Since there was so much road spray today, they did set up a bike wash station for us after the ride. I did take advantage of that, so my bike is nice and clean and shiny. Drivetrain is re-lubricated. I have noticed that the bike handles a lot better or shifts a lot better when it's clean and re-lubricated as it is now. So I am looking forward to tomorrow's ride, especially since we're not going to have, or at least it's not forecast for there to be any kind of water on the road or precipitation to degrade or wash off the lubricant as we go. So the crisp shifting should be good from start to finish. I was going to talk more about those hills. While I was rewatching this video, I noticed that the hills don't look all that steep. Well, let me tell you, they are. Also, there were plenty of occasions where you're coming up on the crest of a hill, and as you're reaching the crest, you can see the road at the crest and the road off in the distance appear to be at about the same elevation. And as you're getting close to the top, you're thinking, oh, good, some level roadway for a little bit. But then as you're reaching the crest of the hill, you're realizing that you're not seeing the road between those 2 points. And as you reach the crest, you see the road goes way down and way up. So fun stuff. Anyway, that's all for now. All right, that was another challenging one. But I am here in Kirksville, safe and sound. And so until next time, stay safe out there.